お可愛いこと。
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel.
I'm Janae.
And I'm Evan.
And together we are Janevan.
Alright, so today...
What are we doing today?
Well, today we are going to compile a list of anime that we'd like to recommend to people, because we often get asked by friends and people online, what anime do you recommend for somebody who hasn't grown up with it like we have? Or somebody who's just new to anime and wants to start. And we're always at a loss for words on the spot, because we've seen a lot of anime.
So something I always like to ask is like, what kind of genre of like TV shows do you like? Because anime is so big, that's literally like asking someone, I've never watched a TV show before, like what should I watch? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you like? So yeah, that's why we're breaking it up into 11 categories today of like comedy, action, drama, romance, all those things.
Yeah.
And we're gonna list
our favorites. Each of us are gonna list one favorite. We tried to go through and pick our top anime. We kind of had some debates, but we'll go through that. And we did our best to avoid any of the big anime.
So our tops that weren't like a big name or that weren't too like, this will scare people.
Yeah, too obscure, you know, something too ecchi, or just something for
Crazy.
people that aren't used to anime, because anime has its little quirks that they like to throw in there. So we've excluded stuff like Dragon Ball, Naruto, Attack on Titan, Sailor Moon. But without further ado, let's get into the list. So first up, we are going to start with comedy. So you wanna go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So my pick for comedy is called Chio's School Road. It is about this young girl. I believe she's in middle school. She, for all intents and purposes, is below average. She gets below average grades. She's considered below average in looks, and her only like defining trait or thing about her is that she's really good at video games. She loves video games. So she stays up all night playing video games every night. And the next morning, that always makes her run late for school. So literally every episode is just her trying to make it to school on time, but there's something that happens that prevents her from getting there. It sounds like it sounds boring, maybe, but it's so funny. Like, she has a really good personality, but she makes everything about whatever video game she just played. So she's like, oh, I can do this because I saw this in a video game and I was boss at that video game.
Interesting. Cool. I've never watched that one, but yeah, I have to give it a shot.
I think it's pretty underrated too. Like, I haven't heard anyone really talk about it. I just watched it like a few months ago.
Yeah. Cool. Well, and disclaimer, we don't remember the synopsis for everything. We're gonna try and refresh our memory, but if we get something wrong, don't murder us.
That one was fresh because I literally watched it 2 months ago. But stuff that I watched 3 years ago, I'm gonna be like, I remember I liked it.
Yeah. All right, so for my pick for comedy, I was torn between two, and one of them I watched the whole anime. It was called Prison School, and it was like the funniest thing I had watched in a long time.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
But I'm gonna exclude it off this list just because it's a little much for a newcomer to anime. So instead, I'm gonna pick Grand Blue. And unfortunately, I didn't watch all of the anime for Grand Blue because I started the manga first. And I've never had a manga leave me in tears from laughing so much. And so the synopsis is that there's this kid named Iori Kitahara, and he is moving to this coastal town. I think he's visiting his uncle, who runs a diving shop, and he's transferring to a new college, and his cousin lives there, and basically it's just, I don't even know if it's a coming of age story. It's just him going into this new environment, meeting his friends who love diving. Some of them love anime girls. Some of them love, or actually a lot of them love drinking, and the whole thing is just like them getting blackout drunk and just doing wild things. But it's so funny. Like every scenario, they just somehow know how to make it funny. So I'll let y'all go and watch that and see for yourself.
Cool. So that's comedy.
Yeah.
All right, so next category we have is action. And I'll go first. So my pick is a show called
Do, ro, ro.
So I'm just gonna read the synopsis for you because I don't want to like spoil anything by talking about it too long. So it's about a mysterious warrior with prosthetic limbs and a young orphan thief travel across Japan fighting demons who threaten humanity.
Yeah.
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 That's pretty much the.
Sounds like there's action in that.
That's pretty good. Yeah. It's crazy. I love it so much.
We both watched this and yeah.
I didn't know I was gonna like it so much. It's on Amazon Prime, so that's a plus. I think I was just looking for things that were like free anime to watch on Amazon Prime.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I came across this one
And
like
I think we watched all the episodes in like
a few days.
2 or 3 days. There's
only 24.
24, right?
Yeah. This is actually from a manga that was released in like
What was it 1940s
30s or 40s or something, but the anime just came out 2-3 years ago. But it's so good, so heartfelt, like got feel.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Don't say anything else.
Don't spoil anything. All right. My action pick is, I'm kind of breaking our rule here of trying not to pick any of the bigger names, but this one is Enen no Shibuti. I don't know. I love saying the Japanese name. I know that's not how you say it. Fire Force. It's a relatively new anime. I don't remember when it came out, but it's basically about not post-apocalyptic world, but a world in the future where dystopian. That's a good one. Where people spontaneously combust into fire and then they turn into demons, and in order to combat those demons, they have a fire brigade, the Fire Force, and they basically have to lay those demons to rest. And humans have kind of evolved to become pyrokinetics. So they have abilities that all involve fire or heat in some way. And the main character, Shinra, basically survived a demon attack, and his whole goal is to want to get to the bottom of why the demons attacked him, and so he joins the Fire Force, and it's his story, and there's so much action. The animation is crazy. It goes crazy. So yeah, that's my pick.
Next category is romance.
Ooh la la.
Yes. All right. So I watched a lot of romance anime when I was younger that I didn't really remember enough, or like I wasn't interested enough in even like trying to remember them. So my pick is Love is War, which I watched more recently. Came out like 2 years ago, I think. And it's not really like your typical like just straight romance, like
Not that gushy.
Yeah, it's more of a rom comedy, heavy on the comedy, and also like if you look it up, it's also listed as psychological. But it is about a romance between the president and the vice president. So it's about these kids in high school, I believe, that are in the student council. And you learn that the president and the vice president have feelings for each other, but they don't want to show them to each other. So it's about like this game that they play, kind of like trying to get the other one to admit that they like each other, because neither of them want to admit it, and
kind of like
be the one that loses the war. But yeah, it's really cute, and it has like one of my favorite lines that I like to say in Japanese that the vice president always says. She says, "Okoei koto," which means how cute, because he'll like do something like
she's teasing him.
Like he planned to like turn something on her and like make her reveal that she likes him, but she turns it around and puts it on him. It's like, oh, that's cute that you thought you were gonna do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love is War. My pick for romance is not an anime series, it's an anime movie, and it's called Your Name. I don't remember when it came out. I have 2016, so 6 years ago. But this one, I don't watch that much romance anime.
Yeah.
Or if I do, it's real, like Janae said, it's heavy on the comedy and possibly ecchi. So something that's good for newcomers is Your Name. It's really good. It's a really good film, and it's about this boy who lives in the city. They're both high schoolers. This boy who lives in the city who dreams of living a more slow-paced life, and then this girl who's also in high school who lives in the country who dreams of living in the big city. And somehow, some way, they swap bodies, and so they get to live each other's lives. And I think it happens like every day, but then they switch back at some point. And then the whole story is basically them trying to discover each other in real life. Like I have to find this person, and it's just their journey of getting to interact with each other's lives without actually talking to that person. I think the whole premise of the movie is them finding each other.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So it is cute, yeah.
Definitely give that a watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And not a big time commitment because it's a movie.
Exactly. And I'm not a big romance person in terms of anime, so when I say go watch it, you might as well go watch it. All right, so next up is sports. And I'll start this time.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not going to pick the typical, basketball or volleyball anime that they have out. But my pick...
Shout out to Haikyuu.
I never watched it.
I know.
Yeah, I have to watch that. But my pick is Initial D. And we kind of were lenient with the sports category because...
It's a sport.
It is a sport. It's about driving. And I'm a big car buff. I love cars. Anything with an engine. And so this anime hooked me from the beginning. And I know there's like a lot of history with this anime. It's very meme worthy.
Oh no, the plow, fuck.
But it's basically about this kid who delivers, what does he deliver? Is it tofu? So he delivers it in this old Toyota AE86, and he goes up and down this mountain every day, and he's a professional, but he doesn't see it as that. He just sees it as him delivering tofu for his job. And the whole world is like this big car culture, and everybody's trying to be the fastest to go down this hill. And this kid is the one to beat. And basically, he starts appreciating driving and climbing his way to the top. And there are quite a few seasons. I haven't watched all the seasons, but I think I've seen up to the second season. But yeah, it's definitely one to watch.
Especially if you're into cars.
Especially if you're into cars.
All right, my pick, also kind of a weird sport. It's called Chihaya Furu, I guess is how you say it. It's actually about a card game, but it's literally called a sports card game. It's called Karita, is what they play. So it's about this girl, Chihaya, and her two friends. I forget their names right now.
That's okay.
They became friends and like started playing together, and then they drift apart, whatever. So she joins a school team, and it's basically like her dream to like meet up with her friends again and play with them and beat them, and then it goes on and on and on.
Right.
But I love it because like as a sports anime should, it makes you like want to know a bit more about the sport, and like I want to play the sport. Like seems so fun. Like they're so determined. Like she ends up wanting to like actually become the best, even though she originally was just playing it so that she could stay friends with her childhood friends. But yeah, it's really cute.
Yeah, cool. I think that's something great that anime does is like if it's about a certain topic, it really makes you invested.
Yeah.
And also another good card or game anime.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, okay, Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's more of a bigger one.
Yeah.
Kakaguri.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's more- that's not a
that's
beginning.
gambling. All types of gambling.
It is types of gambling, but there are a bunch of games, and it's kind
Yeah.
of sports-like. But that we wouldn't consider that one a beginner anime. That
Nah.
one's kind of intense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's our sports category.
All right. So our next category is drama. You wanted me to start?
Drama. I can start.
Okay. Go ahead.
Alright, so my pick for drama is a relatively new anime. It is called To Your Eternity. and we both binge watched this as fast as we could, although we had to wait every week for the new episodes to come out. This was a really good, like, I didn't expect to like this when I first heard the synopsis, but I gave it a chance. So it's about this orb that's created by this, like, he's not really a god, he's more of an entity, but it's literally about an orb that comes down to Earth, and its sole purpose is to learn. And learn all of the things about Earth to kind of get its history. And this orb interacts with things in the environment, living things, and it kind of reacts to them. So it starts out as a rock, and then, and this isn't any spoilers because
This isn't like the first
the
5
very
minutes.
first, yeah, very first 5 minutes. It starts out as a rock, it grows moss, and then an animal dies on top of that rock, and it absorbs the feelings of that animal and then becomes it. And so its whole journey is just to interact with living beings, understand their feelings and their what drives them and their passions, and kind of continue on and just gather history of people
Yeah.
and creatures of Earth.
We still don't know like what the purpose of it is.
No, so this is
It's
just
only
like
the first season.
first
that's come out,
season.
so, yeah.
But it was really good. Like every episode, we're sitting there like holding back tears and
Yeah.
just like on the edge of our seat, like what
It's
is
really
going to
beautiful.
happen. So yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What's yours?
Huh?
What's yours?
Mine is Bakuman. It's heartfelt in a different way.
Okay.
It's not as deep as yours, I guess.
Okay. How so?
It is about these two teenagers. I guess they're in middle school or high school when it starts. Mashiro and Takagi. Mashiro he likes to draw, and Takagi is like the top rated student. He's like really good at school, but he wants to do something else with his life. So Takagi finds out that Mashiro can draw and convinces him to start a manga, start creating manga.
That's fun.
Mashiro's a little hesitant at the time, but Takagi knows he likes this girl. So long story short, this girl basically ends up being what drives Mashiro to become like the best manga artist. And yeah, I don't want to give away spoilers.
That's it?
but
Okay.
It's about them creating manga together.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's another one that makes you like really care about like what goes into creating something like that. Like it's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's about their life outside of that and all the friends they make along the way and all that. So.
Check it out.